It's Samira from sacredsoulpractice.com, logging on for day 11. And today we are talking about trauma informed care, what it is, and the three elements. We have safety, we have empowerment, and we have healing. Let me know when you are hopping on how you're doing today. If you're on the replay, hashtag replay. I would love to know how your day is going. I would also love to know how you're feeling around the idea, the framework of trauma informed care. Sometimes we make it seem more complicated than it is. It doesn't need to be complicated. Sometimes it can feel complicated, and it truly doesn't need to be. When we think about how do we create a trauma informed care um, paradigm for ourselves, right? A way of thinking about it. When we talk about trauma informed care, we're talking about acknowledging that everyone has experienced some kind of trauma. And when we work from the perspective that most people have experienced it and will experience it. And so when we talk about supporting our clients, um, our students, just one another and ourselves, when we think about providing care from the lens, from the perspective of trauma informed care, we're acknowledging that most people have experienced trauma or will experience trauma. When we come at it from that lens, we much more easily acknowledge the need to be able to hold space from the perspective of like, we've all faced challenging circumstances. We will all continue to face challenging circumstances. And when we're able to acknowledge that we need to hold space in a certain kind of way to create safety, empowerment, and healing, that shifts how we show up to the work. It also shifts how we bring our energy to it. When we're holding space for someone, we're going to be much more empathetic and compassionate when we're using a trauma informed framework. Part of that empathetic framework is simply to acknowledge that um, we need to be holding space for people who have been through some things. Sometimes we want to make it seem like everyone is playing from an equal playing field, and that's not true. It isn't to say that we need to pity anyone. Most trauma survivors do not want your pity. Most trauma survivors do not want um, you to give them any special treatment, but they do want compassion and empathy. Most people who are stepping inside of a coaching container, most of people are really aware. There's always an outlier in anything. There can be an outlier, but most people are going to want space held for them in a compassionate way, the same way that someone who has not experienced trauma would want just mutual respect and care, right? When we think about trauma informed care, we're really talking about three elements that need to be there. It's safety, empowerment, and healing. How do we create environments? How do we create containers for our work that are centered around safety, emotional safety, psychological safety, ethical practices that promote safety? That's in our marketing, that's in how we sell, It's in how we communicate, right? It's in the different areas of how we do business. When we are centered around making people feel safe, when we're centered around ensuring our own safety and our own just good practice, right? We're going to promote that in what we're doing. When we are centered around empowerment, we are wanting people to feel empowered across the board. When we really center around empowerment, we're really encouraging and empowering people with the tools, the practices, the frameworks, the methodologies that create stronger, more confident individuals. It's not that we're trying to create people that are robots or clones of us, right? We're not trying, most of us who are empowered and aware and who are doing our own individual work on ourselves, right? We are not wanting to create mini me's. We're not wanting to create copy and paste versions of us, right? We're wanting to empower people to share their good work. We're wanting to empower people to use the awarenesses, the confidence that they gain from working with us. A trauma informed coach is going to want you to gain the confidence and the awareness from working in these safe containers to then go out and create their own. We're wanting people to heal their own intimacy wounds so they can go and help others do the same. We're wanting to empower people to know the best um, testimonial I can ever receive is when someone's able to say, working with Samira supported me in returning to myself, in regaining trust with myself. That's the work. Because when we help people support themselves, when we help people return to their own sense of safety, and sometimes we have to support people in creating that, right? Because so much of trauma um, takes that away. So much of trauma strips that away. So the process of recovery, in any sense of the definition, is to support people in coming back to themselves and coming back to their wholeness and coming back to that infinite presence that supports them in knowing they were born worthy, that nothing that happens in life, no trauma, no adversity, no hard seasons can make you unworthy or less deserving, but they can make you feel unworthy. So the healing becomes helping people to return to that inherent worthiness. There are tools, there are practices, and there are perspectives that help people return to that. So it's nothing that you have to get, nothing that you have to do to cultivate the worthiness. It's really like when you go to the beach and you build a sandcastle. Sometimes little kids might get their toy mixed up in the sand. So you've built this amazing castle or this big mound of sand, if you're like me. And when the waves come in and kind of take the sand back out, you might realize, oh, there was a toy in there. So you might find the sand shovel or the little turtle scooper thing in that sand. That's kind of like when we do this work of transformation and we take all of the rubbish away, all of the junk, all of the traumas, all of the situations, when those get peeled back, it's like, oh, there's that inherent worthiness that I feel. It's always been there. It was just covered up. And so much of the transformational work that we do in the safe trauma practice facilitation program, in our one-on-one work together, is creating the pillars for you to stand on, your own story, your own methodologies, your own truths, so that when you peel back the layers of the things that have happened, the challenges that you've overcome, you return to that worthiness that's always been there. So much of transformation that happens in any kind of like growth container is you remembering what's always been true. It's simply that you've forgotten it. And so much of a trauma informed coach's job is to support you in remembering, right? Safely, creating the structures and the riverbanks to help you call back the parts of you that have just been distorted, left behind, calling them back so that you can step into your own personal empowerment and understanding that you are your point of power, you are your point of attraction, and that you can create what you're wanting. You can create the result that you're wanting, even if you're not sure how just yet. You have the power within you to create what you're wanting in your external life. And so when we think about the third aspect of trauma informed care, it's really promoting an environment of healing. What does that mean? We've talked about in our earlier days of this 30-day trauma informed practice series that the root word of heal means whole. It means wholeness, right? You see how these three elements are interconnected: safety, empowerment, and healing. They are very much interconnected. When we think about healing and returning to our own wholeness, it's to say, okay, I can live from a place of wholeness, and I can lead from a place of wholeness. I can love from a place of wholeness. I can really drop down into my own body, into my own truth, into my own awareness, come back to my own understanding of who I am and who I'm becoming, who I'm choosing to be. So much of Louise Hay, her work supported me so much on my healing journey, and especially in the beginning when I simply needed to feel in control of something, and I did not feel in control of anything. And what really supported me in regaining control over my thoughts, sometimes for the first time maybe in my life, did I really have conscious control, right? So much of the healing process is consciousness. So much of creating up level in your life, so much of creating these quantum leaps in our life is about elevated consciousness. If you haven't caught the live that I did on awareness and consciousness, go back and check that out. It's worth listening. When we really increase our consciousness, that's how we create sustained healing. That's how we really return to our inherent state of wholeness, of worthiness, of healing. And that's how we really can create the empowerment and the confidence to create the business that we want, to create the work in the world that we want, whatever that looks like, whether it's a hobby for you that you simply want to share with the world, whether it is sharing your great work with the world and wanting to create a livelihood around that. So, wanting to earn income and create revenue streams around that, whether that's sharing your gift for whatever you want to do: healer, practitioner, therapist, coach, whatever it is that you're wanting to do. We need that in the world. And so much of the work that I do is with wellness professionals, healers, coaches, therapists. But if you're as a mom, a dad, a stay-at-home parent, and you're simply wanting to share your creation with the world and sell it and earn income for your family, whatever it is you're wanting to do, I want you to know that you have the power within you to create the result that you're wanting. Even if you don't feel equipped to do it, you are equipped. I believe that God gives us the courage to do the thing that we're being called to do. Your higher power will give you the wherewithal, the know how, the next right step to do the thing you're wanting to do, to create the thing that you're wanting to create. In this very moment, you might not know the how. You don't need to know the how. The how is God's part. You're doing your next right step, asking for guidance on what your next right step is. that's your part. And you only ever need to worry about your part. Sometimes what exhausts us, even in our healing process, even sometimes with our clients, what can be exhausting is trying to figure it out for them, right? That's not the right energy to be in. That's more of a codependent state. And that's not where we want to be. We can shift into that sometimes. We want to be really conscious of that so that we're aware. It's not my job to do it for them. It isn't my job to think for them. It isn't my job to figure things out for them. It's my job to hold the space so that they might return to their right thinking, their right mind, their empowered self, their whole self, where their truth then lies, and they're able to hear it and come back into agreement with it in the right perspective in order to move themselves forward and to align with their higher power to move themselves forward. I believe that we all have great work in this world to do. I believe that in so many ways, healed, whole people is what is going to heal our planet and move us forward in a very conscious way. That's why I'm so passionate about supporting people and getting the confidence and remembering their worthiness in order to share their gifts, in order to share their work with the people who need it now more than ever. I work with such amazing people in this industry who have such incredible dreams of wanting to help kids and parents with their emotional intelligence, with their mental health. I have clients who are creating programs for couples to heal and to grow and to recover from infidelity and just trauma and betrayal that can happen in a relationship. And sometimes the relationship cannot be repaired, but there are people out here doing beautiful work to help those who want to heal and grow and create even out of adversity. In our last cohort of trauma informed coaches, we had this amazing woman who is creating such amazing work around recovery and women's recovery and supporting them in returning to wholeness. That is such holy work when we can help people really step outside of their toxic patterns and out of their past and out of their addictions. And we all have addictions. Some of us, it's a drink or a drug or food or shopping. Some of us, it's really like a behavior when it comes to being a perfectionist, or we're so attached to our self sabotage, right? Which is really just a nervous system response. We have certain kinds of addictions that might be more tolerated, right? And have less stigma, but are equally as destructive. And so when we are able to empower ourselves enough to step into our next level of leadership and to do that work in helping others return to their innate wholeness and worthiness, to be able to live from that place, there are such beautiful healing ripples that come from that. And I'm so excited to see what you create and who you decide to support on your journey of healing and wholeness. So, what I want to leave you with today is really thinking about, are there areas right now in your own life that you feel that you just want to shift and gain greater control over, understanding of when it comes to your own empowerment, your own healing, and feeling safe in your body, in your work, in your business? For so long as a therapist, I was so hesitant to move into coaching and really like embody it and own it and claim it because I didn't feel confident. Like I felt really confident in therapy. I had done the work to really become an extraordinary therapist, but I wasn't sure that I could transfer those skills into coaching, right? When you think about that, like on the surface level, it seems really easy. Therapy seems like the harder um, role to have. In my mind, though, there was a certain skill set for therapy that I had learned and that I had mastered. And so I wasn't sure that I could master the coaching skill set. What I really had to work on within my own mindset was the confidence in knowing if you're able to create mastery in one area, you can create it in a different area. Intellectually, I knew that, but I didn't know that just like on a heart and soul level, there was self-sabotage at play, right? And there was this real doubt that was holding me back. And I put off for so long working with a coach or investing in um, a coaching certification because a part of me felt like I didn't need it, and a part of me knew that I did and was scared. And those two parts battled for forever until I just made the executive decision within myself to say, I cannot remain stuck. We talked a few lives ago in regards to a large part of me really has never identified with this aspect of being a victim, right? Even though I've had challenging circumstances in my life, we all have, right? And so hi Stephanie, I'm so happy you're here. It's so good to see you. I did not resonate with being a victim at all. I didn't want to be that. And I felt like allergic to just that mindset. And what I realized was that when we remain stuck, when we allow ourselves just to be in this stuck energy where we're not moving forward, we might not feel like we're moving backwards, but we're definitely not moving forward. When we allow ourselves to stay stuck there for an extended period of time, that in and of itself sometimes can move into this victim energy. It might not be like blaring on a speaker, it might not be screaming victim energy, but when we remain stuck when we don't need to be, when we remain stuck and stagnant, when there's a better way, we're choosing this victim mindset. And so I really want to encourage you, if there are areas in your life, in your business, in your work, in your goals, whatever they are, if you are not moving forward, if you're not feeling empowered, I would ask the hard question, and I would encourage you to answer it for yourself. Journal it, write it out. Think about, where am I holding myself back? Where am I refusing to make a decision? Decisions have to be made. And even if we stay stuck and do nothing, like we remain paralyzed, that's making a decision to remain stuck and to be stuck in this paralyzed energy, right? In this like fawn response. When we choose to make a decision, even if it's the wrong one, even if we're going to have to fix it later, there can be power in making a decision and moving forward. I decided that I was not going to remain stuck. So whatever I had to do to move forward, I was going to find a way and I was going to do it. That's what I did. And I began to move forward and really realizing I was more than qualified to coach, and that I had been coaching honestly for years. I've always attracted really high vibe, high functioning people who might have been stuck in a situation in their life, but they had big dreams, big goals. They were meant to do important things in the world, and they wanted the support to get on with doing those things, creating those lives, parenting from this place of empowerment, not woundedness, and not from trauma, right? So I had always really attracted those people, and I knew that there was a better way to help them than to encourage them to not just heal their past, but to also be able to move forward and create new goals from their place of healing. And that was happening automatically. And so when we think about how we really embody trauma informed care, it's like, okay, we can make the space and time um, in our lives to heal from the past and to really integrate the past, our story, our history, our trauma. And once we do that, then we can create what we're wanting from this place of healing, empowerment, and safety. That's when the sky no longer is even the limit on what you can do, on who you can support, on what you can create, and the kind of life that you can create for yourself and the people that you love. And I want that for you. I want that for me. I want that for us. And I want us to do it together. And I can't wait um, to share all of the ways that we can do that beautiful work together. And so for today, I'd love for you to know, I'd love to know and for you to share below what's supporting you on your inner journey of cultivating safety, of really grounding into safety consistently in your work, in your goals, in what's important to you. Also, how are things going for you on your journey of empowerment? Are you feeling empowered, less than empowered? Do you have no idea where to start on your empowerment journey? Wherever you are, comment below, tag me. I'd love to support you in that. And when you think about your healing journey, how is that going for you? Are you stuck? Are you thriving? Are you making progress? Are you not sure where to even start? Wherever you are is perfect, and there's always room to grow in exciting ways. Growth does not always have to be sad and depressing and like arduous. It can also be fun and playful and expansive when we do it together in community for the good, our highest good. It can be more expansive and less constricting. And I want that for you. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. We'll be back tomorrow for day 12. I appreciate your love and support and for allowing me to share this journey with you. I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.